Welcome back. It's week 3. So what have we gone over so far? First, we started off with healing our past, looking at our past, forgiving everyone else that was associated with it, and reframing it. Then we looked at our relationship with ourselves, and we really made sure that we are showing up as the woman that we need to be for ourselves, or the man that we need to be for ourselves, but really being the support system that we've been looking for, providing the love that we've been looking for to ourselves, providing the abundance that we've been looking for ourselves, realizing that everything is energy and we cultivate it inside of us and then we see it outside of us. And when we focus on the outside world and trying to change the outside world, we're always responding to our internal state that is only reinforcing the state that we're currently living in. So if you're constantly focused on the outside world, you're never focusing enough on yourself, and then you're never getting the work that you need to do done. So that's why I built this course, because so many people are just unaware of that they truly have the power to change their lives, because people don't understand how the subconscious mind works. They don't understand how the universal laws work. They don't understand how energy, vibration, frequency, and quantum physics work. And we are doing a disservice to everybody on the planet by allowing people to not learn this. It takes people's power away from them. And I'm constantly here trying to give you your power back. I knew that the system that I was told to live in was absolutely wrong, and I fought against it for so long, but no one ever told me that the way was to focus on myself and to go inward and to meditate and to pray and to journal and to really do the personal development on myself. Because when you change yourself, you change your entire world, and that's where life becomes magical and powerful. So along those lines, what then we have to look at is your identity. Who are you identifying with? Who is the person that you are being every single day? And then you want to look at, is the person that you're being every single day and the identity that you currently have for yourself serving yourself? A lot of us have created an identity based on our societal programmings, or what our parents told us when we were younger, or what school told us, or where we found ourselves in the dead-end job that we've been working in for 5 years because we never asked for more, or we didn't ask for a raise, or we didn't know what we wanted to do, so we just kept doing the same thing over and over again. This keeps us stuck like the hamster on the wheel, and that's what I want everyone to do, to be able to realize they can stop being that hamster and you can create the life that you want to live. But it really is going to come down to who you identify with. Your identity creates your beliefs, it creates your actions, it creates what you allow yourself to dream is possible, and it ultimately is going to allow you to manifest and what you can manifest. So here's the difference, right? If you identify with as someone who is working in a 9-to-5 corporate career, who relies on a biweekly paycheck, who is just a cog in the wheel, then you're not going to dream big. You're not going to allow yourself to become an entrepreneur, or not a successful entrepreneur, because you're still identifying as someone that's working a corporate 9-to-5. And someone that's working a corporate 9-to-5 doesn't get to work for themselves. They don't get to have any say in the business that they're working in, or they have a little bit of say, but it's all going towards someone else, and it's not helping you. It's not helping you on obtaining financial freedom, which is ideally what we're all looking for, right? Money doesn't actually give us freedom, but the idea of money allows us to have freedom. When you have more money in your life, you get to say no to things that you don't want to do. When you have more money in your life, you get to say yes to the things that you do want to do. When you have more money in your life, you don't have to look at the cost of something before investing in it. If it lights you up, then you get to go for it. But somebody in a corporate 9-to-5 would never even think that, because they would be like, well, I make this much every 2 weeks, which means I make this much every 4 weeks, which means I make this much in a year. So I have to budget, and I have to sacrifice. Now, if you have the identity of an abundant, wealthy, successful entrepreneur, then you're not going to allow yourself to show up every single day slaving away at a job that doesn't personally benefit you. You're going to be investing in yourself through personal development. You're going to be creating a morning routine that works for yourself. You're also going to have a nightly routine that works for yourself. You're not going to drink every single day. You're not going to first thing when you wake up turn on the television, and then the last thing you do at night turn off the television. You will be anxious, depressed, and miserable if you continually do these things. And you'll also feel like you haven't made any progress in your life. Someone that doesn't see themselves as successful will continue to do this over and over again because they don't think that they deserve more. Now, when you hear people talk about quantum leaping in manifestation, those are people that are identifying with the person that they want to be and realizing that if they want to be this person in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, however long they want to be this person, if you start being that person now, if you start aligning your actions with what that person would be doing, embodying the life that that person has, showing up the way that that person has, you are continuing to raise your vibration. And when you raise your vibration, you raise your frequency, you raise your energy. And that allows you to manifest at a different level. And it also allows you to want and manifest different things that if you were down here, you wouldn't even think were possible. Because remember, what you believe is what manifests in your life. If you don't believe that you can have something, if you don't believe that you're worthy of having something, you're never even going to attempt to manifest it, or your manifestations will never come true. And then after a certain amount of time, you're just going to say this manifestation stuff doesn't work. And you're just going to give up and be self-defeated. But it's not that you can just wake up one day as a miserable person in a 9-to-5 being broke and saying, I'm going to manifest a mansion. That's not how it works. If you're going to tell yourself you're going to manifest a mansion, but you are living in an apartment right now and you're barely paying rent, then you don't believe that you can live in a mansion. So of course you're not going to be able to manifest a mansion. That's why people believe they can win the lottery so that they can get these big things. It's their belief that the lottery can give them that much money that allows them to keep playing the lottery, even though the lottery is just keeping these people stuck and small and powerless. Instead of spending their time on creating a life that they want to create, they're spending their time and their money wasting away at the hopes that some lotto is going to save them. And that's also why, what is it, like 80% of the people that win the lotto don't actually stay rich their whole lives. They end up going broke and in debt so quickly. Why? Because they don't feel worthy of having that money. It's all related, okay? What you identify with, who you identify with, is going to show up every single day. So if you've ever been in that situation where you're like, oh my God, an entire year has passed. What happened? I feel like I did nothing. That's because you didn't identify as a successful person. You didn't identify as a goal-oriented person. You didn't even question who you were identifying with. You showed up the same way, thinking the same things, speaking the same things every single day. So it was basically like you were in a terrible version of Groundhog Day, but your own life then becomes a Groundhog's Day because you're not challenging yourself for more. The universe can only give you what you are asking for and what you are a vibrational match for. So this was so transformative. When I found this out, I was like, oh my God, you're so right. I have been identifying with a public servant. I've been identifying as someone who gets a bi-weekly paycheck. I've been identifying as someone who has to pick and choose what they can invest in themselves because they don't have unlimited resource and unlimited time. I created an identity where I had just enough. I always had just enough. I never had more than enough. And the moment that I realized that I had created an identity where I had just enough, that's when I was allowed to decide, fuck that. I don't want to have just enough. I want to have more than enough. I want to have an abundance of money, an abundance of love, an abundance of freedom, an abundance of independence, an abundance of passion. Abundance isn't about money. It is the natural state of the universe. You are supposed to have more than enough and have all of your needs met at every single time. The problem is society doesn't teach you that. Society, your parents, the school system, the media, the news, they teach you the exact opposite. They teach you to focus on what you don't want and then and then tell you to just accept it, and that's life when you keep getting the things that you don't want. They don't tell you that what you focus on is where your attention, your energy, and then your vibration and frequency go, and then that's the reality that you experience. I gave a speech at the University of Wisconsin, and I was talking to 9th through 12th graders. They were prospective students, and I gave this whole speech about my wellness spectrum and tied it into manifestation and the subconscious mind, because I'm always marrying these things together. And the students were so captivated by the information I was telling them. And I kept saying to them, I know I'm probably the first person that's ever saying this to you. So I'm going to repeat myself, because I understand that what I'm saying is going to be shocking. It's also going to be triggering. If you came from a very, very poor economic life, if you come from a very, very low self-worth background, it's triggering to hear that money is just a representation of how you're showing up in the world. It's triggering to hear that the lack of love that you're experiencing is due to the lack of love you're giving yourself. When you realize that you are at fault, you can take the responsibility and the accountability to change it. So if you have never thought of what your identity is, I want you to truly, really think about this. Who have you been identifying as? Do you even know? Have you even questioned it? Or have you allowed your external environment to shape your identity? And then your external environment continues to keep shaping who you are. So then you feel trapped in this life that you're living and you feel like you're powerless. The way to take your power back is to look at, this is how I'm showing up every single day. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm thinking. These are the thoughts that keep going through my head. These are the things I keep telling myself. These are the things that the people in my life keep saying. Someone that has an identity where they are an empowered woman, where they are an authentic woman, where they are a successful CEO, they are not going to surround themselves by people that complain. When you have low self-worth, when you have a low identity of yourself, you'll continue to put yourself around people that complain, that eat horribly, that have really terrible and toxic habits and traits, just because you don't believe that you're worthy of more, and you don't believe that you can identify yourself as something more than this, or put yourself with people that identify more than that, because you have such low self-worth. Everything we're doing is foundationally tying together. Even though I'm talking about the subconscious mind, and I'm talking about manifestation, and I'm talking about personal development, there are very strategic stepping stones that you need to take in order to really have a balance in doing all of this, because I want this to be a sustainable life change for you. I want it to be a transformative experience. So by the time you're done with this 8 weeks, you are going to look back at the woman or man that you were at the beginning of this course and go, wow, I can't believe I allowed myself to be that person for so long. Look at how far I've come. I don't even recognize that person. Look at them. Look at who I am now. I'm so proud of where I've come. And that's why it's a quantum leap, because when you change your identity and you change what you think and you change what you speak and you change what you eat and you change what you consume and you change what you do and you change who you allow yourself to be around and who you share space with, that's when things start changing quickly, because the universe is responding to you and time isn't linear. It's responding to you in the present moment. But we get so caught up staring at social media, watching television, and that literally hypnotizes us out of the present moment, and it keeps us in a state of reaction. And when you're in a state of reaction, you're in fight or flight, and that's when you have stress, anxiety, and you go through adrenaline burnout, adrenal fatigue. Then you get to say, okay, if this is draining my energy, if this isn't creating income in my life, if this isn't creating impact in my life, what would create impact? What would create income in my life? And then you would start doing those things. And because you'd be giving yourself the time and space in the morning to get clear on who you want to be and the life you want to live, You are going to get yourself into a state of creation so that way you can bring this about your day and you can choose what you're interacting with, what you're responding to. And that's why I tell everyone, make sure your notifications are turned off for everything. You don't need to know when someone likes your video, your photos, anything on social media. You don't need to know when somebody comments on anything. You don't need to know when somebody sends you a message. It doesn't help you at all. You need to decide how you want your day to go, and you need to decide how much time you're going to allocate to responding to people, to interacting on social media. You also need to decide if that's something that you do. If you in your zone of genius, having all of the support that your ideal version of yourself has, is she even responding to her social media? Or does she have a social media manager who's responding to all of the messages? A lot of the time, people are just responding because they want to respond. But if you're always responding because they want to respond, you're going to feel like you got nothing done in the day because you're constantly responding to other people instead of deciding, I'm going to be doing this for X amount of time. And then when I want to schedule time to go on social media, I will schedule my time. The same with emails, the same with everything. The only thing that I have notifications on my phone is text messages. That is it. And sometimes I honestly turn off phone calls too. Like, don't even bother calling me because I can go months without having my phone even tell me that people call me. It goes straight to voicemail. Literally changes your life when you start deciding who you want to be and the actions you want to show up with on a daily basis. And it all comes from your self-worth and your identity. So if you've never looked at who you identify with, you're going to do that this week. You're going to look at who you've been identifying with. And if you're unsure of who you've been identifying with or what vibration you've been putting out, look at the world around you. Is it the life you want to be living? If it's not, it's probably not because you're here. It's because of your low self-worth and your low identity. Or you're not taking action. But what happens when someone doesn't take action and they allow themselves to get stuck? They are still identifying with someone who isn't successful because people take action. They take action daily. They show up daily. They know that in order for them to have the financial freedom that they want, they have to show up, they have to provide value, and they have to do it consistently. When you're starting a business, especially if you're transitioning from a corporate career or a career where you've always worked for someone else, you have to be responsible for setting goals for yourself, for creating daily action plans, for keeping yourself accountable, for making sure that you are doing income generating tasks throughout the day, and to make sure anything that's not an income generating task is automated or you give it to someone else. Hire a VA. If you're not making a lot of money or you don't want to file for an EIN, an employee identification number, then you don't have to. You can hire a VA, get a 1099 contract employee so that you don't have the employer responsibility, but you can also show up and work in your zone of genius. If you're sitting there answering emails all day and fielding customer service responses, but your ultimate job is to be a coach, then when are you showing up as a coach? When are you showing up giving free value? When are you showing up giving value that people are paying for? The amount of time that you have in your day is going to directly connect and correlate to the identity that you have. A successful person plans their days out. A successful person knows that the money is going to be there. They know that they need to invest in themselves. They know that they need to eat well. They know that they need to give themselves time. They know that going to work for someone else is only going to keep them trapped, trading their time for limited resources. And the only way to have unlimited resources is to create your own business. You have to decide that you are worthy enough and you are good enough. You have to decide that you are strong enough and you are able to show up for yourself every single day. If you can't show up for yourself every single day, how can you show up for your business every single day? And then how can you show up for your clients every single day? You won't be able to. And because everything is energy, people are going to feel it in the things that you're putting out, whether you have that energy or not, whether you seem a person of value or not. That's why on my social media, and honestly, it offends a lot of people that I don't follow them. But here's the thing, if you're not posting valuable content, I look at it this way. If I am getting ready in the morning and say that I wanted to let my stories just play through, if I allow my stories to play through, will every single person that's showing up in my stories be adding value to my life? Or will they be complaining about their lives? Or will they be complaining about their circumstance? Or are they just showing a bunch of pictures of their dogs or their kids or their personal life without showing you how to be healthier, or without showing you how to manifest or how to work on yourself? Or, if they're not adding value in some way in my life, then I don't follow them, because that's one less person to keep me off track. That's one less person to hypnotize me and lower my vibration. You have to be cognizant of this with every person you surround yourself with, by every conversation you have. It all comes back to your identity. You need to make sure before you're saying something, is this something that the version of me that I want to be would say? Is this something that the version of me would invest in? Is this something of me, that the identity that I want to have? Is this something she would be doing, thinking, saying, interacting with? If the answer is no, then you need to unfollow that person. You need to leave that room. You need to leave that friend group. You need to put yourself in better situations that do support your business, that do support your growth, that do support you on getting everything you've ever wanted. You can have everything you've ever wanted as long as you get rid of every person telling you you can't have it, including yourself, because your beliefs are going to create this. One of the hardest parts for me was when I was starting to realize that I knew that working in the public sector was not for me. I was not meant to take tests to get a raise and to not get raises for 3 or 4 years, because that's how the system works, and to get paid such little money, but to have to show up for 8 hours a day and spend another hour a day driving in traffic, to be around really toxic people who had to drink every single day just to bum themselves out, or just go home and watch Netflix every single day, or wake up and put the television on and then go to work all day and watch TV on their breaks. That's not it. But the problem is, if you're living in that world and then you decide that you want to have more for yourself, if you're still surrounded by the people in that world, you're going to go home, do all this work on yourself. And then the second you think about going to work, or the second you're on your way to work, or the second you're there, you're going to get pulled into that low vibration again. And for me, it felt like I was living 2 different lives. I was home and I was meditating, praying, I was listening to podcasts, I was investing in all of the courses, I was investing in coaches, I was going to school, I was taking care of my health and my fitness, I was working out daily, I was doing all of these things to get my mental health, my physical health, my spiritual health, my financial health, all of it on track. And then I would go into this toxic workplace with people that didn't understand how personal development. They didn't believe in manifestation. When I said, well, when I'm a millionaire one day, they would literally laugh and make snide remarks. Yet they'd be the ones sitting there, never investing in themselves, never asking themselves what they can do more of, completely just accepting this life that they've been given. Like this is what they have to do, and this is just the life that they have to live. So it's really so important that you're cultivating a space for yourself to allow this new identity to flourish. I know I'm not saying go into your job and just quit if you don't have the belief structure behind you that you're able to do that yet. If you don't have an idea of what you're going to bring to life or how you're going to make money, if you don't have that plan B, then it's going to be very difficult for you to continue to build up your identity when you need to identify fully as this new person before this success and this business are going to transpire. So what I recommend that you do is really make sure that you are taking your time to make sure that however you can cultivate this space for your new identity when you're at that old place of work. Do things like listen to podcasts while you're working if you're in an office and everyone around you is super low vibrational, or if they're always complaining. Try and be the person that offers solutions when everyone else is complaining. Go for walks outside to get yourself out of the business so that you're not listening to them. Listen to music sometimes, high vibe music, but also realize that music isn't gaining you value. So if you can substitute the music that you listen to while you're at work for podcasts, for YouTube videos that are educational, motivational, for courses, you can listen to courses. You can listen to this while you're working. Listen to things that keep you in a high vibe so you can stay in a high vibe. Make sure that if the people you work with are super low vibrational, that you're not also hanging out with them outside of work. Make sure that you are hanging out with people that are trying to do this as well, trying to work on their personal development, trying to start a business, or who have started a business, who have been working on personal development, who have been reprogramming their mind. If you don't know anyone in your external world and the local world, then get online, interact with people, comment on people's pages that are inspiring to you and motivational to you. Keep interacting with those people, because what's going to happen is your social media algorithm is going to see that this is what you want to see, and it's going to show you more of it. The posts that you interact with are the ones that are going to show up more on your feed. So you should never just be scrolling through Instagram. That's just you giving your time and your energy away to other people. But if you were to go on the search page, everything that you see should be educational. It should be benefiting you in some way, not just that you're watching people dance on TikTok. What value does that give you? Unless you want to be a professional dancer, what value does that give you? Unless you just had a really bad day and you just need something to light you up for a minute so you can watch someone dance, that's about it. That's literally about all the value you are going to get. You should be spending your time investing on yourself and investing in people that are investing in themselves. So you need to really look at what you're doing daily. You need to look at who you're interacting daily with, whether that's at work, whether that's at home. Are you in a relationship with someone who's constantly playing the victim and constantly saying, oh, woe is me, when you're going home every single day after work and you're doing 4 hours of personal development work and you're cooking the meals and you're cleaning? If the person around you isn't adding value, if they aren't adding to your vibration, then realize they're taking away your value. They're taking you down in vibration. So it all matters so much. The foods that you're eating, the drinks that you're drinking, make sure they're valuable. Make sure you're eating high quality plant-based foods so that you feel good. So that way it's easier for you to identify with this person. Remember, before you do anything, is the person with the identity that I want to have, is this something that they would be doing? Is this something they would be eating? Is this a conversation they would be interacting with? Is this a post they would be looking at? Is this a post they would be liking? Is this someone they would be following? Is this a friendship they would continue to have? Is this an environment they would continue to live in? All of these questions are such valuable questions because it gets you to start coming back to yourself and self-realizing. Now, if you have a 1 through 3 in your profile in human design, you are inherently meant to constantly have this self-realization, because those are the self lines, I like to call them. So you're going out in the world and you're constantly experiencing life, but you're always coming back to, how am I feeling about this? How is my energy after this situation? Am I feeling drained after I talk to this person? Am I feeling lit up after I talk to this person? Am I feeling drained after I do this, expanded after I do this thing? The more you ask yourself and the more you question the reality that is happening to you and how you're feeling in the present moment, the more you decide the direction of your life. You are literally course correcting, because your brain is a supercomputer and it works on programmings, and your programs are installed from 0 to 7. They're created through neural pathways. So the way that you've always acted, the way that you've always thought, the way that you've always spoke, the things that you've always done, These are neurally programmed in your mind, and your brain is always trying to conserve energy. So it's always going to be going to the path of least resistance. That's why it's the most difficult when you first start doing something, right? That first 21 days, because you're literally changing a neural pathway in your mind and you're forming a new neural pathway. And that's why you have to do something for 21 days, because it's that consistent repetition that drills in the new pathway. Because until that new pathway has less resistance than the old pathway, your brain is going to keep going to the old identity. So that's why we so matter-of-factly have to be identifying with the person that we want to be and making sure that everything is aligning to this. When you are thinking something in your head, when you are choosing to believe it, is this a thought that the identity that you want to have would be choosing to believe in? If no, stop believing in it. It is that easy. You get to decide the thoughts that go on in your mind. You get to decide the words that come out of your mouth. And if it's something that doesn't support the life you're trying to create, you also get to say no to it. This is where most people go so wrong. With meditation, they tell you to be the gentle observer of your thoughts. I want you to be the gentle observer of your life in every area. Realize the emotions that are coming up. Realize the thoughts that you're having. Realize your vibration. Realize how you're feeling when you're doing something, after you're doing something, when you're thinking about doing something. Your energy level and your feelings about things are really what's guiding you as to whether you should do it or not, especially because 70% of the population in human design are generators, and this is including the manifesting generators. Don't listen to any human design teacher that tells you that MGs are half manifestors and half generators. They don't know what they're talking about. MGs are generators. So 70% of the population are generators. We are the life force energy. I'm an MG, so I'll say we. We are the life force energy of the planet. We are literally meant to have a sacral gut response. Our energy is always guiding us. But if we're always choosing the things that are draining us because we think that we have to do them, then we're never going to have the energy that we need, the clarity that we need to go after what we want. And the same with the emotional beings in human design. I am, you probably are too. We're 50% of the planet. And in business especially, and as women, we are always told you can't be emotional. Don't let your emotions guide you. Stop being emotional, rationalize, analyze your way through it. That's the safe and secure way. No, that's absolutely not. If you have an emotional authority, that's the worst thing that you can do. The worst thing that you can do. You need to let your emotions guide you if you have an emotional authority, because your emotions are guiding you to what you want and need in this life. And your wants and your needs get to be met always. It's just that society has told us everything has to be so hard. So we've created programmings where everything has to be so hard. It's so hard to form a business. It's so hard to find the perfect partner. It's so hard to be abundant. It's so hard to travel the world. It's so hard to be a woman, to have a business and to have kids and to do all of the things. It's so hard. No, it's not. It doesn't have to be hard. It's only hard when you keep deciding this is the story you're going to go with. Here's the thing though, you get to decide if something doesn't light you up, if something is making you feel frustrated, angry, bitter, or dissatisfied, then that's not for you. So why not instead choose something that makes you happy, that makes you feel peaceful, that makes you feel satisfied, that gives you a sense of surprise? These are the signatures in human design, and these are what all of us are looking for in one way or another in all areas of our lives. And this class and my teaching and everything I'm here to do on this planet is to show you that the stories that don't feel good, the situations that don't feel good, the people that don't feel good, they are merely lessons to teach you what you want and what you deserve, so that you decide you deserve more, so that you know you get to have more, and so that you identify with someone that has more, so that you allow yourself to think about the things that you want, to focus on your wants instead of your don't wants. And language has a bunch of semantics in it. The subconscious mind does not understand our semantics. So stop trying to trick yourself, because that's what you're doing. You're setting yourself up for failure when you say, I don't want this, and then you continue to focus on it. Opposite is always going to be the better thought. I don't want debt. I want abundance. What are you focusing on? Abundance. I want to be a successful woman that has a successful business that generates $20,000 a month. What are you going to get? Do you feel the difference in vibration from a woman that says, oh, I'm just an employee at so-and-so and I work 9 to 5 and I wake up at 6 a.m. and I shower and I rush to get to work and I make sure that my kids are ready, and then I get home and I pick up my kids and then I cook for my husband and then I go to sleep tired and exhausted and I don't have a moment for myself. Okay, that's one story you can tell yourself. Or you can decide, I am a wealthy and successful woman. I'm a CEO of my own business. I am a founder. I am a mindset coach. I generate $20,000 a month in my business and I serve people. I help people love themselves. I help people have the confidence and the beliefs to manifest the life of their dreams, and I show up daily for them. There is such a difference in vibration, and everything is going to be based off of that. You can have a low vibe identity or you can have a high vibe identity. Whatever identity you choose is going to continue to create this reality. And it all comes off of your subconscious mind, understanding the power of your subconscious mind, quantum physics, which talks about everything is energy. So everything has a vibration, everything has a frequency. You are considered in everything. You have a frequency, you have a vibration, so do your words, so do your thoughts, so do your feelings. So it's always going to be coming back to feeling the best, identifying the best, knowing that you're worth the best, and believing that you can have these things, and looking at questioning and reprogramming anything that tells you otherwise. You get to be the most authentic, empowered version of yourself. You also get to decide who that person is. Fully and totally, you get to decide. And here's the thing, once you decide on that person that you want to be, then you're able to realize, okay, what do I need to do daily to become that person? That is why my manifestation process is so aligned with goal setting, because I truly believe that the key to all of this is to envision who you want to be, envision the identity that you want to be, get really clear on who you want to be, realize when you want to be that person, and then start breaking it down tangibly backwards. Instead of working from the now, which makes it feel super overwhelming and makes you feel like you don't know what to do. So you throw your eggs in a bunch of baskets, but you never really have one full basket. And then you get so tired of running back and forth from all the baskets that you end up just leaving them there for someone else to come find, or not find. They just get left and you're worn out, beat, and tired. So instead, you need to get really clear on who you want to identify as. What do you want to have in a time frame? So what I want you to do is start thinking about the version of yourself you want to have in 10 years. This is what I do with my clients. When you work with me one-on-one, I'm going to ask you, who do you want to be in 10 years? And then I'm going to ask you, okay, and who do you want to be in 5 years? Okay. And now the version of you in 10 years, 5 years, what do they have? What are they doing daily? What does their life look like? What does it feel like? Who are they surrounding themselves? What are they eating? What are they doing? And here's the thing, you're going to get super clear on this person, what they have, their identity. When you get specific, you can start feeling, you can start vibrating with that reality, because it doesn't feel so far away because you don't have a clear vision that you're trying to get to. Instead, you're deciding what you want and getting very clear on it then. And then you're going to work backwards. So what I want you to do this week is get very clear on who you are now, who you've been. Understand that who you are and who you've been is fully responsible for what you're seeing, feeling, and experiencing. And then what I want you to do is get clear on who you want to be in 10 years. And what they have, what it feels like to be that person. What car is she driving? Where does she live? What does her house look like? What does her wardrobe look like? What food is she eating? Who is she investing in? And then 5 years from now, repeat that process. Who do you want to be? What does it feel like? What do you have? Then I want you to look at, okay, a year from now, who is the person that I want to be 1 year from today? And I want you to get very clear on this. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be in the next year? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to feel like? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be surrounded with? What do you want to be eating? All of these things. And then what I want you to do, and this will all be described in the homework, so you don't have to write it down frantically. And then what I want you to do is I want you to look at, all right, so if this is who I want to be in 1 year from now, that means 12 months from now, this is who I want to be. And I want you to jump down and go, okay, 8 months from now, what would I need to be doing daily to be at this person, to be at this identity level in 1 year? What actions would I need to be doing daily? Then you're going to repeat this for 6 months, 4 months, 2 months, 1 month. You are going to get so clear that by the end of this module, you are going to have a yearly plan. You're going to have actionable bi-monthly steps. And then when you get to 1 month, the 2 month, you're then going to go to 1 month, and then you're going to go to 2 weeks. So what would I need to be doing every single day? And you're working back. So you've already gotten your 2 months. So you're looking at that. Okay, so what would I need to be doing at 1 month? So that way I can accomplish this in 2 months. And it's all about working backwards. And then I want you to break it down in 2 weeks. Okay, what would I need to be doing every single day for 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, to be able to be this person in 1 month? And then I want you to break it down to this week. All right, so if this is what you would need to be doing daily for you to have this identity in 1 month, then in 2 weeks, what would you need to be doing every single day? And then, okay, so this week, if this is where I want to be in 2 weeks, what would I need to do every single day this week to make sure that I'm creating that identity? That right there, if you take the time to really, really sit down and be honest with yourself and you work through this, you will have gone from someone that's most likely feeling drained, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you don't have purpose, not knowing where to go, what to do, feeling like you're a chicken with your head cut off, going all over the place. You are then going to go from that person who's lacking purpose, who's having a low identity, who's allowing themselves to participate in low vibrational conversations and situations and do low vibrational actions and things that aren't creating the reality that they want because they don't know the reality that they want, to someone that got really fucking clear on the woman or man they want to be in 10 years, who they want to be in 5 years, who they're going to be in 1 year. And then they have an actionable yearly plan that's broken down bi-monthly and that's broken down weekly. And you'll realize that once you start going through this, then it just starts getting broken down weekly. You will be able to set weekly goals for yourself, and then they will be actionable goals. And since the version of you that you're trying to be as an abundant version of yourself, then these actionable goals are also going to be income generating goals and actions. So while you're creating this identity of the person you want to be, you are making money and you're showing up as your authentic self and you're doing what feels best for you, because we're all so different. We all have so much value to add. And what I do and what you do will be so different just because of our life experiences, our interests, who we are, who we want to be. So understand that this is the best way to get out of imposter syndrome. This is the best way to stop scrolling through your social media and looking at other people being like, "Oh, I wish I had that life." Stop wishing. Declare that this is who you're going to be and start operating from that place. And this is the way you do it, going backwards. It's not about starting from where you are at the very low vibrational place and trying to jump up, because it's going to feel like you feel really good and then something happens and it knocks you back down. And you're going to keep fighting against feeling high vibe. And that was one of the things that I fought against for so long. because I was still living that dual identity, and because I also wasn't clear on who I wanted to be. I had a very wishy-washy idea of what I wanted, but I didn't get clear. I didn't sit down and really think about, what do I want? Who do I want to be? What life do I want to have? And how can I get there? And now what I want to remind you is, because you'll always hear me say this, when it comes to manifestation, the how is not up to you. You have to get clear on what and why. So when you create this plan, understand that these are actionable steps for you to take, but you're also going to be taking inspired action from the universe. And we'll talk more about this in the manifestation module. But it's really about, don't get so caught up on the nitty gritty how of everything, but realize that this is who you want to be in a year. These are the things you have to be doing daily. And allow, in the mornings when you're meditating, when you're outside walking, when you're taking time and space for yourself, allow the universe to give you clues on how to create this life and how to make it easier and flowier and more fun, so that it doesn't feel like you're constantly rowing upstream, so that it feels like you're actually being supported by the universe and they're helping to push you in the right direction. Realize that the resistance is what makes life difficult. When you are resisting and instead of allowing life to be easy and to support you. And that's one thing, because we've been taught for so long that life has to be such a struggle, that you're not supported, that we often lose our trust and faith that we can have the support. But I want you to understand that when you're doing these action steps, you don't have to have, well, I wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and then I go to sleep at 9 p.m. It doesn't have to be a daily breakdown like that. It would be getting clear on the things that you should be doing to create this reality that would support this reality that you want. And then allowing space to receive, right? With manifestation, we always need space to receive. So when you're vibrating high, you're getting clear that this is what you want. You're getting clear that you want to have a 200, say you're, because this is what I kept using, say you want to have a $20,000 month in your business. If you're getting clear that I'm doing this because I want to have a $20,000 month in my business, and then in between while you're doing the things and in between the time and space you're giving yourself, if you get an idea that says, wow, what if you showed up online this way? Or what if you created a product like this? Or what if you did your services this way? And you're like, wow, I have no idea where that came from, but that sounds so fun. That sounds like it would be so much more empowering, enjoyable. It sounds like it would be so much more flowy and so much less filled with resistance. That's the universe helping you out. So then take those actions. So what I'm trying to get at is, don't feel like you have to plan your day from waking up to going to sleep. I would actually tell you not to do that. One thing I'm gonna have you do is journal out and get clear on what your ideal day would be. But that's just to give you a layout up so that you understand what can happen in your day. It allows you that capability to dream. So that way you're really opening up your threshold to dream bigger, to want more. But I don't want you to sit there and write down everything you're going to do all day long. That's going to take your power away from you. It's going to not allow you to respond and interact with the world the way that your strategy and authority allow you to in human design. So what I want you to do is I want you to really focus on just the identity and then the daily actions that are supporting it, and realize that it could be 3 or 4 things in a day. And then what you're going to do is you're going to be vibing high. You're going to be taking care of yourself, investing in yourself, and doing all of the things that allow the rest of your day to be filled with the support and the empowerment and the authenticity and the feeling good that you need to keep becoming this version of yourself. Now, the reason that I wanted to break down this homework for you is really because I need you to understand how powerful it is. And this is typically something that I would be walking my client through in a session and helping you along with it. So since I'm not there with you one-on-one, I want to break it down so you hear me say it, and so that you can really resonate with this, so you can come back to it. Because I'm telling you, the moment that I realized that my identity was the biggest way to quantum leap into the version of myself that I want to be, everything changed. everything changed. And that's what I want for you. Instead of having to struggle for years to try and figure out who you want to be, how to get there, I want you to have it happen as seamlessly, as quickly, and doing it in as much fun, in the most empowered and authentic way for yourself. And then also, if you're not familiar with human design and my human design references are going over your head, don't worry. I will be adding a bonus to this on human design. So you will get all of the human design information that you need to know, that really the foundational human design work. And if you want to go deeper in it, then this is what I teach in my coaching containers. I teach my human design along with my mindset work and the subconscious reprogramming and the personal development and the quantum physics. It all ties together in my work. In my world, I am constantly bridging all of these things. So don't worry, everything that you are hearing is exactly what you need to hear when you need to hear it. And anything that isn't lining up will line up. You can come back to this. You have this course for life. I am here to support you through all of your transitions, because realize anytime we go through a transition, it changes our identity and we have to up level again. So this isn't something that you do once and then it's done forever. You can constantly be self-realizing. You can constantly be looking at the identity you have and the identity that you want to create. And you can constantly be adding more to it or making pivots to go in a different direction. None of this is set in stone. You get to decide what feels the best for you and for your life. All right, so until next week, get to work on creating your identity. Get to work on getting clear on what your identity is and where you want to be. So that way we can really start quantum leaping and manifesting the life of our dreams as fast as possible. I love you so much. You're doing such important work. You are helping to shift the collective upwards. And this literally helps the planet. The work that you're doing is not selfish, it is selfless, because you are investing in yourself. You're raising your vibration, you're raising your frequency, which helps the planet and the collective consciousness raise their frequency, and you show other people that it's possible for them too. So know that the work that you're doing is not only going to change your life, it'll change the people's lives around you, and it will change anyone else in your world, in your community. So get excited. You are doing amazing things here. Amazing things. And I'm so proud of you.